Retro Requiem.
Hello and welcome to Retro Requiem. And today we are doing a spoiler cast for The Amazing Spider-Man 2. I'm going to pass it to Andrew first. Andrew Wagner.
What?
What can I say, man? He has a tattoo that says "I love Andrew" or Andrew Garfield on his ass.
Hey, wait, really?
Yeah.
Can I see it?
Actually, first,
It's actually a picture of my face and then a picture of Garfield's face, like the cat.
The
so
cat.
It's Andrew Garfield.
And it has a plus and an equal sign at the end.
Yeah.
Actually, let me first introduce who's here. I'm Brian Perry. With me is Collin McConnell.
Hello.
And Andrew Wagner.
Yeah,
Take it away, man.
What am I just talk about the movie?
Yeah, so give me your general thoughts on the movie.
I liked it better than the first one. Electro's backstory was lame.
Yes.
Oh, yes,
Paul Giamatti was not needed in the movie, and he was a horrible Rhino.
Preach.
Green Goblin was in it too short. I felt like they could have expanded on that, or at least just leave him out. Like
3 or 4 ain't bad. No, I hate what you're saying.
But
Collin, you want to take it next?
yeah.
Yeah. I was really prepared to hate this movie, but I was surprised that I didn't. Actually, it was by far okay. Let me break it down like this. Let me break this down for you. Plot.
Break it down, brother.
Break it down, brother.
Plot. Mediocre at best.
Yeah.
General writing, including a lot of the dialogue, especially it was the dialogue was horribly what did I say to you in the car? My exact words. Expositional. Forced exposition. There was literally one scene between Harry Osborn and his father where he's like, "Do you remember that thing you did to me when you were 6 and like this?" And like he was just like, "Yeah, I was there. I kind of did it. That's why you don't have to remind me of this." It's just horrible. Like that is shitty writing right there. And there's a lot of it in the movie. A lot of corny lines. A lot of that just did not sound right. And yet, I liked the characters. I think there was a lot of chemistry between the core cast. Certainly Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone, who I think they're dating in real life, that makes sense. Yeah. They work really well together. I told Brian this. We agreed on this after the movie. Andrew Garfield might be better than Tobey Maguire.
I would have to. I think me and Brian already talked about this, and we definitely agree. I think we think Tobey Maguire looks the part maybe a little better. Maybe I don't know. I feel like he looks like Peter Parker more in my mind because he's like the nerdy kind of guy. But Andrew Garfield plays Peter Parker more to the T. Yeah.
Well, and here's the thing. If Dean Yankowski were here, he'd completely disagree with me on this. But this is a different kind of Spider-Man. It's a variation on Spider-Man, right? This is we have to accept this. This is hipster Spider-Man. Okay?
It kind of
is. It's hipster Spider-Man. Now, again, the reason I reference Dean is because he always hates when they differ on characters. That's why he hates the Joker in The Dark Knight. But I accept this. Okay, fine. You're taking. I know if it was Andrew Garfield's decision, if it was whoever, the writers, they work together. What? But the end result is you basically have hipster Spider-Man, and you know what? Okay, fine. I accept that, and he knocks it out of the park. He does a damn good job with it. He makes it work. I like him being. I like the beginning of the movie, at least the parts with Spider-Man, because it was like he was just going around saving people, and I like that. Like I would love this as a TV show where just Spider-Man doing Spider-Man things. I think he's a really good Spider-Man, and Emma Stone as Gwen Stacy. The dialogue between them was funny. I have to believe, considering the writing and the rest of the film, that they improvised the majority of their dialogue. It flowed. I guess it could kind of seem, again, it's hipster Spider-Man, so it comes off as a hipster romantic comedy almost. Yeah. But it feels genuine. It feels, and even the scenes between Harry Osborn and Peter Parker, their dialogue seemed genuine. It seemed like they're old friends, and I like that.
But he's been gone for 8 years, and all of a sudden they come back. Oh, hey, how you doing, my best friend in the world?
Well, not exactly.
I'm gonna say this about it. You could feel Peter Parker is a very Andrew Garfield's a very charismatic Peter Parker.
Yes.
And so when that first scene comes and they first meet each other and they're talking, you can feel like there's a force that he's drawing him in.
Yeah.
Now, what kind of bothers me is that, and I've said this to Collin, I feel like he should have been in the first movie.
Yeah.
Because that's what the first Spider-Man had going for it. When the second one, Harry pulls off the mask and he sees Tobey Maguire Spider-Man.
Yeah.
That's a big thing for him. And he just falls and he's like, Peter.
Yeah.
Like, you're Spider-Man. And this, we meet him. We meet Harry Osborn.
Yeah.
Harry Osborn's dying.
Mm-hmm.
Clock's running, ticking.
Yeah.
And that relationship between them does feel forced. I agree with Andrew. I think they should have had more time to develop their relationship.
Mm-hmm.
I do like Harry Osborn more in this movie, though.
I don't know about that.
I think he plays Harry Osborn more like Harry Osborn. He's more charismatic, I think, than just the good-looking version that James Franco plays.
I didn't get charisma. I got more. If Spider-Man is hipsterish, then I got kind of almost an emo-ish vibe from with the hair and
just
everything.
Just because his hair, everything else about him, I don't think emo.
But no, he was kind of like the
He's like he plays a suave, charismatic.
I like James Franco's Harry Osborn better because I think Harry Osborn portrays the complex that Norman Osborn has, that he has to fill in these big shoes of his father.
Yeah.
Better. And especially in the first movie where Norman Osborn is in the car with Peter and I can't remember the exact wording, but Harry just looks at Peter Parker and he's like, dude, my dad likes you better than me.
Yeah.
And because Harry Osborn isn't as intelligent as Peter Parker is, and I think in the first movie Norman Osborn was more in it as well. Mm-hmm. Obviously, he's the main villain of the first movie.
Yes.
And for this, I felt like Oscorp has been doing these secret experiments to save Norman Osborn's life this entire time. And, we see him for a total of 2 or 3 minutes.
He could come back,
in both 2 movies. Nah, that would really bother me.
After the credit scene that was cut from the American version actually had Norman Osborn's head frozen in the bottom of that whole chamber area.
Wait, which chamber?
You're BSing me.
No.
Wait,
making what? 100% serious.
Hold on.
That is one of the dumbest things I've ever heard.
There's a frozen head, and I mean, I can see why they cut it, because that's pretty...
Yeah.
That's Walking Dead right there.
That's Crank 2.
Yeah, seriously.
That's what that is,
what
man.
The okay, regardless.
Yeah, like when the guy's walking around, like you see the octopus and everything like that. There's a frozen head of Norman Osborn right there to keep him alive till they find out a way to cure the disease.
Sure. Yeah, again, and it goes along with the whole thing where everyone knows this has been fairly rushed. We had, Spider-Man 3 was like 2007, and we got the first Amazing Spider-Man 2012, was it?
I think it's 2012.
Okay. Yeah, it's like they were scrambling to put all these pieces together, so you don't have Norman Osborn in the first, you don't have Harry Osborn in the first one. It's like they're like, oh yeah, we should do this now, but maybe they could have done this. Yeah, they could have put these pieces in motion and actually given it the sense of being a inclusive story. It just feels like the first Spider-Man. It felt like a trilogy, even in the first part, even the second part. It felt like a trilogy. After this part, I don't know where the fuck this is going.
Hey, it's not a trilogy though. There's 4 movies planned already. Plus the Sinister Six movie.
4 more movies.
No. Like 4 total planned at least. 2 more after this.
Yeah. Well,
plus the Sinister Six movie.
Well, that's the thing. The whole thing is now it's more the Marvel thing, where it's just a never-ending thing. You're making new properties and all this stuff in the universe, building a big giant universe. There's no Dark Knight anymore. There's no the original Spider-Man. There's no trilogies or anything. It's just.
I mean, the trilogy of the original Spider-Man fell off there.
Well, yeah.
Something I think that we need to really talk about is why the main plot's going along in Electro and blah, 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 blah. This underlying plot of Peter's dad, their origins, Oscorp being this secret organization. How do you guys feel about that?
They took it straight from the Ultimate, I guess, universe. That Peter's dad was actually much involved with Peter's actually getting his abilities. Yeah. Which is kind of cool. They pulled from another universe to put into the Amazing Spider-Man universe, and I don't find it that bad at all. I think they implemented pretty well.
First 10 minutes are basically a Bond movie, though.
Yeah, that's true. that also, he got a laptop when
I said that in the movie exactly when it happened.
I know. I was seeing it. It was like a Sony Vaio laptop back in 93 or something. I don't know when Peter was born, but
also Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
In the flying in a jet.
He had a plug, man. He had a plug.
That's right. No, you're right. Yeah, he did plug it in.
Yeah, he had a plug. Thank you very much. You give them more credit.
but still,
the underlying storyline is by far my least favorite part of the movie. By far, as a matter of fact. Without that, I think that plot wastes too much time in the movie. And what I like about the first Spider-Man that I think this Spider-Man misses out on, and something we've all touched on, is that there's not enough time for these characters to share screen time. Yeah. And so when you're trying... Spider-Man has a really big cast. And we still haven't seen J. Jonah Jameson. We still haven't seen...
He's mentioned, though.
We still haven't seen Mary Jane. They had to cut her out.
Yeah, they cut her out.
And so there's just not enough time to fit these characters in because they're wasting time with this plot that I don't really...
The plot builds into it, though, that the Sinister Six movie will happen because they have the whole, But I feel things built in the basement, so it leads to Oscorp, which also leads to the spider genetics.
I don't think everything has to lead back. I understand it's a comic storyline, but with a comic storyline, you have more time. That's more like a TV show, like Collin was saying. Yeah. But we're just talking about movies. You only have a certain amount of time in the movie, and you're trying to fit this. And like we were talking about Spider-Man 3, how this thing had the criticism that with putting villains in, it would feel like Spider-Man 3. It didn't feel like Spider-Man 3. No. The villains is what made it feel rushed. I think this plot makes it feel like squished in.
Well, and again, going back to just bad plotting, it seemed like they were like, okay, we need this many villains, we need this many action scenes at these points in the film. How do we get the characters to make these decisions that lead to these things and all this stuff? And so you have, the Harry Osborn and Electro teaming up, which seemed kind of random. You had, and I guess with Peter's dad, where it like turned out that the reason that only Peter was okay with this stuff is that Peter's dad had used his own DNA in the spiders. So it felt like they were like, well, we need people to do this and that, and we just have it seemed very poorly paced and very poorly written in the end.
I like the actor who does Harry Osborn, but what I think the movie did was I think it took away his sense of agency. It felt almost as if he didn't make a lot of his own decisions, that he was sort of forced down his path, almost like when you bowl and you really suck, so you use the rails.
Yeah, right.
That's how Harry Osborn felt in this movie. Like, by the way, you're dying of this disease that it took me my entire life to die from. But for some reason, it's manifesting in you much quicker because he already had like the green stuff growing on his neck and it was already moving. So he's like, oh crap, I have to have Spider-Man's blood. Now I have to do this. Yeah, I actually think him teaming up with Electro was the first thing he did, even though it was kind of, me and Colin talked about this, he like tased 2 guards.
Yeah,
and then like turned into a he was like tased 2 guards and then like broke in, like it was kind of boosted, but that's the first thing he does that I'm like, you know what, Harry Osborn made that decision. Yeah. And he comes in. But we talked about a little bit about Paul Giamatti's part. But how did you it was just really bad. It was really bad.
I never
liked
him. That
suit looked awful. The CGI on that was terrible.
I didn't like the suit at the end either.
No,
I actually thought it would look better because from the commercial, it actually didn't look that bad.
Yeah. I didn't like it per se, but also it's hard to do something that like would be realistic. Like it had to be a mechanical suit because you can't just like strap on a unitard with a horn on and then also I have powers like.
But this is what I'm saying about like, because we all know the Sinister Six movies in the works now. You don't need a Sinister Six movie. You don't need the Rhino. Yeah. You don't need to have the Vulture. There's a reason why these dudes weren't featured in the originals, because you only have so much time. You have to sort of pick and choose who you're going to put into this movie.
Yeah. Also, just the way they set up the Sinister Six movie as it is now, I assume the Sinister Six will be the protagonists, so to speak, the anti-heroes.
I hope.
Well, so I mean,
they are.
Usually you're going to have like origin stories of some kind, but I mean, by seeing all of these suits and stuff, like it makes you think like they're going to be like, let's call up all the bad. There's a scene you watched Blazing Saddles, right, Brian?
Yes.
Has you watched Blazing Saddles? There's a scene where the bad guy, who's the comical, mustache twirling villain's a comedy, so he's kind of over the top, and so he just calls up all the bad guys he can find to try and kill the hero, and you get a pan across this line where it's just like Nazis, Ku Klux Klan members, just evil guys. So that's what I'm picturing for when there's just like, well, yeah, what are your qualifications for being a bad guy? Here, take for a fucking octopus suit. Like, it just seems so random, I mean,
yeah, I agree.
So, I'm not. This is not going to be good, I think.
Who is this motherfucker in the hat?
Seriously, yeah. Is he from
I want to know.
Does anyone know if he's from the comics?
Mr. Fierce?
Mr. Fierce.
Who is this dude?
Is it Beyonce? Beyonce's alter
Why
ego.
is his parents' last name Fierce?
Seriously,
Why is this dude so evil?
Oh, Andrew's on his phone.
Oh, yeah. Research in here.
I'm pretty sure he was from the comics.
Something, they probably is. Something we haven't talked about yet. How did you guys feel about Max Dillon? Max Dillon or Electro. How do you guys feel about his character progression?
I mentioned this. Yeah. Well, because here's the thing. He's like this weird nerdy guy, awkward and like just no friends, all this stuff. They build him up as really he has weird hair, horrible comb over, gap in his teeth. So that's him before he turns into Electro. Then he falls into a vat of eels. Which is just like,
well, let's just talk about that.
How does he turn into Electro? How does he get Electro powers?
They're special eels.
He fell down. Spider-Man got bit by a radioactive spider. Yeah. He got bit by radioactive eel.
Yeah. Okay, so that happens. The gap in his teeth is somehow fixed by this electricity.
Yo, Collin was the only one that noticed that.
Oh my god.
He's like, dude. Electric superpowers give you the perfect dental plan.
Just seriously. So that happens, and then he wakes up and he's a completely different character. He has the same hang-ups in that he like blatantly expresses them like, nobody likes me, everyone likes Spider-Man more than me.
You need me?
Yeah. Oh god. But he's a different character. He's completely different. He's a badass with electrical powers. Mm-hmm. So basically the whole characterization of him in the beginning, which Jamie Foxx pulled off pretty well, he's a decent actor, is useless. It could have just been some random dude with no... I mean, I guess you give him one distinct character over no character at all, but it's pointless. He completely changes, and then he's Electro, who is somehow vulnerable. He's not vulnerable much, but he's vulnerably hit by cars, even when he's non-corporeal electricity.
Yeah. I think that there's a tale of two halves of that movie. In terms of Electro's character.
Yeah.
And so in the beginning, horrible. Yeah. Absolutely horrible.
Yes.
Afterwards, I really like it.
Yeah.
I think Jamie Foxx does a really good job at portraying this very power-hungry, and you know what? Okay, kind of what bothered me was that when the scientist is torturing him, that is a build-up. You can feel the tension building.
Yeah.
And he doesn't escape at that point. And I thought that was kind of a mistake.
I feel like they kind of got that for the trailer, So they had him saying that for the trailer. They put that in like, without Spider-Man. No, put you back.
Because when he goes, you'll feel like me. You'll have a world without power. Yeah. Like I felt that. I could feel that power. Yeah. And then like it's like nope, back down,
back into the tub.
Back into the tunnel. I don't know how he breathed under there. I guess at that point he doesn't need.
Don't ask questions. Yeah, I guess he breathes.
He's an eel. He can swim in water.
He breathes through electricity. Yeah.
He's Eel Man. He's not Electro Man. And what made him think of Electro at that point?
He's electric.
Yeah, good point.
Okay.
He needed a badass name.
Really quick comment. It bothered me how I think the movies nowadays, a lot of superhero movies, are making a point of not saying the villain's name
or anyone's name.
Yeah. So, for example, Superman in Man of Steel was not Superman.
No, yeah, never called Superman.
It's like there's like a funny thing about it.
Yeah.
But like. He has to be like, I'm Electro.
Yeah.
And then the Rhino has to pound on his chest like, I'm the Rhino.
Did he actually say that?
Yeah, he did.
Oh,
he said, and then charge in his Rhino-shaped
yeah.
armor. I just thought, when I saw the trailer, I thought he just happened to have armor that resembled a rhinoceros.
Yeah.
Is what I pictured in my mind. But what is this company's deal with these animal-based projects?
Yeah. It's a thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then the random super mech suit. So it's like bird wings, octopus tentacles, rhino suit. Oh, just super armor tech.
Glider, sure, whatever.
Yeah,
because he needed to become the Green Goblin. That's why.
It's because they're reading Spider-Man comic books, and they're like, "Hey, all these people are like either animal-based or like."
Something I think that will be implemented more in the following movies to come, including the Sinister Six and, obviously the Spider-Man sequel. Mm-hmm. Where does Venom and Carnage come in this? Because they've built a very scientific origin for each of these villains. They each have this thing. Scientific symbiote goo?
Well, I can somewhat...
Well, go ahead, Andrew.
Okay, I played and reviewed the Spider-Man 2 video game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Check out RetroCream.com.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
Spoiler.
Spoiler, yeah. And this is also actually a spoiler, but near the end you fight Carnage. Mm. And Carnage is being held at Ravencroft and whatnot, same place as Electro.
Yes.
And the symbiote was actually I forget, like, it's a gelatin kind of goo thing that Oscorp was working on, that it would attach to the host and actually repair cells of the host. Mm. So it was a thing to help Norman Osborn and Harry Osborn out to, like, heal from this. And they were testing out on... what's his name?
The serial killer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
something Clay. I can't remember.
Cassius Clay? No.
No. Close, but continue though.
And so they put it on him, and he kind of just like consumed his whole body, and he turned into Carnage, and that's how Carnage came into it. So it's probably gonna be like a jelly kind of thing to heal them. And
is Venom in that game?
No.
Okay, then I don't want Venom in this universe going forward.
Yeah.
Because it makes sense why if the serial killer who's extremely crazy gets this, he's just gonna cause mayhem.
Yeah.
But you know what the symbiote does, like the Venom symbiote, is make you crave power, make you crave more.
It makes you your dark side, basically.
And so that's why when Eddie Brock and whoever else gets it, they're just petty people. They're not necessarily bad. Yeah. They're just kind of really petty.
Check out Spider-Man 3.
Yeah. So crazy, just really petty.
Or don't.
And so it brings out the worst in people. So if the same Jolton gets it, he's gonna be like, "Oh my god, I have the Jolton." He's not gonna be like, "Kill Spider-Man."
Yeah.
No. Okay. She wasn't in this movie.
Oh yeah.
How do you guys think Mary Jane will be implemented in the next movie?
I like the actress they picked.
I do. Yeah, she's a good actress.
Yeah, she's a good actress. What's her name?
Divergent.
Divergent.
Thanks a lot for not remembering.
Fault in Our Stars.
American Teenage Dreams. The Pregnant Lady.
Spectacular Now. Descendants. I'm listing movies now, but I mean, she was in all of them. So, I guess it makes sense. I see why they didn't put her in, because it would just feel really weird to be like, oh yeah, spoiler alert, Gwen Stacy dies at the end.
I mean, this is a spoiler cast.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, you know what you're getting into. No, but so yeah, Gwen Stacy dies, so it would be kind of weird to have to. It'd take away some of the impact. Where it'd be like, oh, Gwen Stacy died, but yeah, we saw his future love interest later. So yeah, come on, just kill the bitch already. You know this. So I guess you could have convinced yourself if you didn't know that she was gonna die. Mm-hmm. That it was like, well, she might survive into the next movie. She doesn't. She does. And I kinda-ish like the way it happened.
I wish she would have died on the Brooklyn Bridge, though.
Yeah.
That's how she dies in the comics.
Just fucking random clock tower in the power plant.
Right by the power plant, yeah.
It was a really nice set. Okay, Gwen Stacy being at that power plant is really annoying.
Yeah.
That she drives all the way across town.
Because plot convenience, because she knows the grid or something.
She helped create the grid.
Wait. Weren't this all the streets really crowded with cars and stuff? Traffic was pretty backed up.
Yeah, that's right. How did she?
She had a cop car.
She drove it. Well, I
guess. On the sirens. Yeah. They were just like, at that point, okay.
People were just pushing the cars out of the way.
This is realistic at this point. This goes down. Cops get out the way.
Oh yeah.
Except for that little kid. That little kid's a beast.
That little kid is stupid. That little kid.
But I think
he's the boss, man.
I think it would have been great to see her not even fully introduced as a full character, but at least introduced as a side character.
I think it'd be really cool if you just saw her in her background, not even like any part of anything. Just like, whoa, is that her?
She could have easily been like a 5-second part in the first one. They had Flash. Yeah. They had Flash give Peter Parker a hug. We all hate that dude.
Yeah,
Mary Jane could have just gave him the hug in the first one. Oh my goodness! Let me write Spider-Man. She could have been like, "Hey, I heard your parents died." Hug, and then like hug, and then call it a day.
Hug it out. Yeah.
Go ahead.
What was I gonna say?
Oh, never mind.
I'm sorry. Yeah, keep on going. Wow.
Okay.
Lost my train of thought there.
Before we get to our final scores, ask one more question. How was Aunt May's character in the movie?
I liked it.
I have no problem with her character at all.
I actually like her better than the other Aunt May too. In the other series.
Yeah, she looks younger. Like the other Aunt May, I always think of grandmother. Yeah. But like Aunt, she's actually somewhat near the age of like Peter's parents.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
One quick thing. I was singing this during the movie. So I have to dwell back a bit. There's a video online called Wes Anderson Does Spider-Man or something like that. Because I think he was rumored to... There was at one point when they were talking about making the first one, he was rumored to be doing it. And so they made a video...
So weird.
Wes Anderson... Yeah, it is bizarre. Wes Anderson doing Spider-Man. And it's just like the most Wes Anderson kind of like overt themes and stuff. And then like the way he shoots it. And just putting... The guy is just like randomly Spider-Man, you know? So it's a funny video. Look it up. But I was watching this movie and I was like, and people knock Wes Anderson for being hipsterish, I guess, or a lot of hipsters like Wes Anderson. This was the most like hipsterish movie I think I've ever seen. It really felt like the soundtrack for one. I mentioned this to you.
The soundtrack was bad. I wouldn't say hipster.
It just here's what it felt like. it felt like I mentioned this before because this is hipster Spider-Man. I mentioned it felt like a hipster rom-com. It felt like they wrote the romantic comedy aspect of it, and then they were like, "Oh, we're supposed to make a superhero movie."
Okay,
and
I agree with that.
And they put in they just like, well, here's the superhero handbook on how to make a superhero movie. Let's just copy and paste all of this into it. Keep the romance part, and that'll be our movie. That's what it felt like.
Parts of the movies just didn't. I don't think parts of the movie blended together well.
Like
is what I think you're like overall saying is that
it
just feels like these glued together pieces that don't necessarily fit.
Yeah, I agree. And like the just certain shots and stuff and the actually the director Mark Webb made the film 500 Days of Summer.
Love that
which
movie.
was a rant. I've never seen it actually.
I love that movie.
Romantic comedy. I don't want to peg it as hipsterish. I haven't seen it, but I mean it's kind of a.
You were hipster heavy today.
I mean, again, I hate using because it's a broad term, and it's kind of simple to just label it as that. But I mean, he came from a romantic comedy background, so I mean, it makes sense that that's the best part of the movie. And also, I got that. I got the feeling that it was like really that they wanted to make a different movie, and that they had to make a superhero movie, so they made it a superhero movie.
Before we get to our final scores, I just want to make a quick comment on the after credit scene, which was a preview of X-Men Days of Future Past.
That was bizarre.
You know why I was there?
What?
Because Mark Webb had deals with Fox to make 2 movies, and he made the 500 Days of Summer, but he was requested or like wanted to work on Spider-Man.
Right.
So Fox made a deal with Sony to be like, hey, if you use Mark Webb, you have to promote X-Men.
Yeah.
So they took him for Spider-Man. So this is how they're promoting X-Men.
Oh.
And I want to make a quick shout out to the guy who was 3 rows behind us and said, "This is important," because they're owned by different studios. So now they could be connected.
No.
Yeah,
No.
that guy.
I just explained it.
No.
If I see you in the street, you get slapped, man.
No,
I don't know who you
it's
are.
not.
He
It's
told
not,
his son that.
He did.
He told his like 5-year-old son that.
He's a bad
His
father.
5-year-old son is gonna think there's gonna be an X-Men Spider-Man crossover and will be wildly disappointed.
Yep.
That's horrible parenting, folks.
That's bad.
No, I'm going to make one last comment before we get to our final scores.
Everybody got final comments.
Venom will not be in this universe because he's actually getting his own spin-off movie. Like a full spin-off movie.
Spin off from what?
Like, from just like the universe. He's like, it's like...
It's just a Venom movie?
Yeah, like it's going to be like Venom.
What?
Wait, does it take place in this universe?
I don't know.
So it's just
It better not.
It could just be a random just Venom movie.
I wouldn't mind that if it's just a random ass Venom movie and he's just totally unrelated.
But he's Spider-Man only evil, so it'll be a Spider-Man movie. Only he'll be
No, but it'll be like he'll be the anti-hero. He'll be like closer to Punisher or something. Punisher is a bad example, but you know what I'm saying.
My point is he's gonna be doing the same things. He's the same kind of physically and in terms of his powers, roughly. He's the same type of. So it's just a Spider-Man movie with only goo instead of web, I guess, or whatever.
Oh yeah, it's really stupid. I agree with you.
Yeah,
I
don't get it. I don't know. Whatever.
And to end this, Andrew Wagner, I'll throw it to you first. Final score for this movie.
I give it a 7 out of 10. I'm really lenient with my movies. I don't overanalyze them. If it makes me happy, I give it a good score. Yeah. So 7 out of 10.
Collin?
Like a 7.5.
Wow, more than I thought.
It was vaguely salvageable, I guess.
After being so hipster, I thought it was gonna be
vaguely
like
salvageable.
Vaguely salvageable.
There were. And you give it 7.5.
No, here's what there were things that I actually enjoyed about it, and it felt like somebody put some thought into a part of it and came out with something halfway decent.
It sounds like you're giving it a 4, but you gave it a 7.5.
No, because maybe it is more just the way I felt coming out. It wasn't like Man of Steel. From now to the end of eternity. From now to the end of eternity, if we're talking about bad superhero films, that's the first one that's going to come up for me at least.
Those two, it's like an 8.5.
But what I'm saying is, Man of Steel felt completely horribly botched, and it felt like it was like, well, let's make a superhero movie about Superman that's like the Dark Knight. Bam.
That's exactly how it felt.
Exactly. There was nothing. It was just bland, and it felt like a gray Play-Doh thing. You mashed a bunch of gray Play-Doh together and then put it on digital whatever, and then turned it into movie theaters. That's it.
I mean, the destruction was great looking, though.
I'm a fan. Okay, the action I think got complaints from some people that it was too much CGI. It didn't.
It looked like
it was a lot of CGI, but I thought it was well done at the same time.
It looked like Looney Tunes fighting each other, at least to me. Anyway, my point with all that is there was color in this film. There was parts that made me smile. It made me laugh. That I enjoyed.
Spider-Man had really good. I don't know. Yeah. Okay, we talked about bad writing, but Spider-Man has really good jokes in there.
Spider-Man had really good jokes. Spider-Man.
It was what he should be.
Yeah. I don't understand where that went for the rest of the movie.
Spider-Man was clever, and again, I have a feeling they improvised a good deal of this.
Andrew Garfield wrote his own stuff.
I'm a fan of balance, and so I'm gonna go 6.5, just so we end up on an even 7 and call it a day.
An even 7.
I would
agree with even 7 from us.
Yeah, this must be some kind of because did you give Captain America a higher score than either of you, than me?
I did, I think.
I think I gave it like a 8.75 roughly.
I probably gave it a 9. Captain America 2.
Captain America 2 is really good. Were you here for the spoiler cast?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you were.
You gave it a 9, right? 2, right?
Something around that area.
Yeah. This might be this first time ever. I don't know. Maybe the film school is changing me in bizarre ways, but
I in the middle again.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So I didn't loathe this. I thought I was gonna hate this movie completely, and it surprised me.
You know what? I agree with Collin. And Collin, say not this movie.
Don't Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, I'm feeling good.
Yeah.
Or Gwen Stacy. That'd be weird now.
Yeah, she's dead. That'd be necrophilia.
But Emma Stone though.
Emma Stone can get it.
We're allowed to.
Emma Stone can get it.
Remember to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter and subscribe to our YouTube page to see more Spoilercast, especially when X-Men Days of Future Past comes out.
That's right.
And Godzilla comes out. That was a walrus like making love.
Yeah.
I can't do that. They like mix like 14 different noises together to get that.
You can't even. I'm not even gonna try. Yeah, Godzilla. Can't wait. How many days? Tell me the days, Brian.
It comes out May 16th.
So yeah, but we're going on the 15th.
Oh, we're going on the 15th. So actually only 4 days. It's Thursday.
Jesus, really?
Yeah, it's Thursday night.
Oh my
Thursday
God.
At 7. Thursday at 7. 3D IMAX.
Yeah.
Come see us.
Come see
the movie with us. We're all going in one big group.
Yep.
We're not telling you where or when.
Nope. Just find us.
Just find us.
Head to a movie theater and look for us.
Tweet us like, hey, I'm here.
Tweet at us and get no reply. It's a fun time. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
I miss J. Jonah Jameson.
He'll be back. Well, not the actor.
He just
probably.
messaged him. He's like, wrong.
Right. That was one of the better pieces of dialogue in the film. Yeah.
Not dialogue, it's just written.
Yeah, no, well, technically, whatever. It's the character spoke.
One of the best parts of script.
One of the best scripting sequences. The character said something and it was on screen. So
come back to Retro Requiem for more on all superhero movies.
Retro Requiem.